It's a very quiet afternoon, as always. Since I can't go outside as myself, I have to match schedules with Mion when I go shopping. Oh god, that's so crazy and awful. I've gotten used to it by now, so it's no longer a hassle. Because of this, I naturally have to buy things in bulk. Today I shuttled between shops and my home. I got this, I got that. Oh wait! Isn't it a 100 yen sale today? I forgot this! Being in a good mood, I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow! What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave it a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up there in a row. They all fell like dominoes. It was a beautiful sight. This is fun, I thought. Being in such a good mood made me leave my guard down. I didn't realize the owners of the bicycles were right nearby. They looked pretty scary. They grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. Then they called me all kinds of names. Everything was happening so fast, I couldn't get a grasp of what was going on.
The fuck, you bitch? What you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitch. Gonna pay for what you did.
Oh, they can't really talk properly. I didn't have a clue what they were saying. I had to translate their alien tongue into normal human words in order to understand. We are very upset because you knocked our motorcycles. You should immediately pay for the repair and compensation. That was probably it. That's our offer, what do you say? We'd be happy to listen to your opinion. Something like that. Sorry, I don't think I continue interpreting.
Huh? What you saying?
I know what they're trying to say, but somebody has to warn them about the way they park their motorcycles. It wouldn't be fair to those who obey the rules if there was no punishment for those who disobey them. This is an accident, but it's also God's will. But God, you can use me to punish these guys, but how will you compensate me later? I heaved a huge sigh. Of course. I wasn't afraid in this situation at all, because it wasn't a dangerous one for me. These 3 guys were yelling at the top of their lungs at a girl. They didn't look good doing it, and they had too many disadvantages. First, there was the difference in gender and in the number of people. Even if I did something wrong, as men shouting at a woman, it didn't make them look like they were in the right. Added to that, there were 3 of them. It already looked like it was going to get violent. Second, the location. Taking a girl into a dark, narrow alleyway is already a bad idea, and to top it off, they're asking for money, not just an apology. Thanks to these facts, the public will be on my side. So, this was a fight they couldn't possibly win. The only way for them to win was to retake my money before somebody finds out. Considering that, taking me to this narrow, secluded alleyway might have been a smart move, since fewer people will find out.
Huh? You're listening or not?
I knew how slim your chances of winning were. From the very beginning, they had picked the wrong girl. I'm Mion Sonozaki now. It'd be foolish to mug her in Okonomiya. Soon enough, the people of Hinamizawa would notice me and gather around. They don't spare mercy for their enemies, no matter what. The punks didn't know this area. If they did, they'd have known how silly it was to rob Mion. Plus, the alleyway isn't always as empty as they assumed. This side street is a shortcut which local people frequently use on their way home. In the late afternoon, many people will be passing through here. That time had almost arrived. If I held off just a little longer, the street would soon be filled with people. Then the punks would have to go away. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wait in order to win. This was a simple fight like that. While they could hurl abusive language at me or lift me up by my collar, they weren't actually going to resort to violence. Cheers to the educational system for ingraining the ladies first mindset. But as a wicked person, I wanted to toy with them a bit, even though I could win this by waiting. I wanted to paint them as even more villainous and drive them into a corner that would be even harder to talk their way out of. That demonic desire was rearing its horns. To put it plainly, I only need to act as the poor, helpless victim a little further. Like the pathetic, pitiful, tragic heroine everyone wants to sympathize with. In a case like this, I shouldn't start crying immediately because they get nervous and draw back. If it were a truly threatening situation that would work, then I needed something different here. I'd pretend to be strong at first. In fact, I thought, why don't I challenge them? And eventually, I'd start trembling. My voice would fade. I'd get tears in my eyes. It'd be even better if I played the role of a strong girl who's slowly giving into fear. Mion and I are probably the only ones who are able to pull that off. Well, I'm probably better than her. Why don't you let me go now? I already apologized. I talked back with a little hesitation. Am I getting tears yet? Yes! By the way, I've heard men can't shed tears on command. I feel sorry for them. The three punks faltered a bit due to my sudden change in attitude, but they soon started yelling at me again. I had to keep it going. That way they'd blatantly look like they're picking on a helpless girl. Please, I'm sorry.
What you doing? What's with this girl, huh?
I don't...
Maybe you should apologize like that from the start.
It looked like they were laying off a bit. Did I overdo it a little? It'd be boring if they let me go now. At that moment... Cut it out! Don't you see her crying? Stop it! A boy around my age appeared. He was skinny. He looked weak. He looked younger than he probably was. He also looked smart. He bravely glared at the punks.
What the hell? Who the fuck are you? Back the fuck off, yeah?
The punks turned away from me to face the boy instead. The boy looked a bit agitated when the punks started yelling at him. They sure were ruthless. But the boy must have known that from the beginning. He must have known that he was going into a dangerous situation, yet he didn't hesitate.
Fucking say something! Why don't you answer us?
He must have wanted to shout back, but he'd probably never used that kind of language in his life. So he couldn't have expressed his feelings out loud. He might have not even known what to say. So he just kept on glaring, to let them know he wasn't going anywhere. The three punks, though, must have thought he was just lost for words in fear. But I knew different. The boy was overpowering them with nothing but his will. The punks were losing, so they resorted to violence. They grabbed him, knocked him down, they hit him, kicked, tossed him around. It looked painful, but I knew. It was his victory. In the end, local passersby stopped the punks. They made no further fuss and just went away. The boy stood up. He was covered in dust. Is that Satoshi? He smiled when our eyes met and asked me if I was all right. He didn't look particularly okay himself, though. How could you step into a fight you obviously couldn't win? Pick your opponents better next time. I hesitated at first. He laughed, saying that he was watching from the beginning. That meant he had the option to walk away, but instead he worked up the courage and stepped in. That was reckless, not brave. You're being a little harsh, Mion. You should at least say thank you. I saw you crying. I wasn't crying. That was just an act. Okay. Hey! You don't believe me, do you? Do you really think I'd cry? Nope. Nobody believed Sonozaki Mion would cry when punks bullied her. Why are you laughing? You really don't believe that was an act? I'd never cry. I believe you. I do. I realized one thing. He must be one of Sis's friends. He didn't seem to realize I'm her twin. He thought I was Mion with different hairstyle. Mion and I had to live separately since before we went to elementary school. Mion was in Hinamizawa, and I was in Okonomiya. I lived in a totally different environment from her. So it's not strange that people don't know me. Actually, only very few people I know exist. I almost told him that I'm not Mion, but I managed to stop myself. Shion shouldn't be here. He is from Hinamizawa. It wouldn't be good if he thought he saw Mion look-alike in Okonomiya. So I had to act like Mion. Dealing with him could be more difficult than handling those punks. Well, I was just relieved because you seem to have a girly side after all. You sound hostile. What exactly do you mean by that? I thought you kicked those guys' butts with some crazy martial arts. So I was really surprised when you just started crying. Hey! Like I said, I was acting. Weren't you listening at all? He gently put his hand on top of my head and stroked it as stroking a kitten. I could remember somebody doing that to me when I was little, but it had been quite a while since somebody stroked my head. I didn't know what to do. Why did it make me so embarrassed? My face reddened all at once. I couldn't say anything. Hey! Are you making fun of me? I started in embarrassment. He looked calm as if he was used to doing this. Whatever. Aren't you glad, though? Glad? What do you mean? Well, you didn't get hurt. He smiled. When he kept stroking my head, his smile looked divine. He wasn't going to stay for long. He'd already saved me from those guys after all. Well, I need to be going, so I gotta head off. Okay. I wanted to go through all the steps of meeting someone for the first time, but he didn't. As far as he was concerned, he just saved a friend from danger and wanted to leave quickly to avoid seeming pretentious. He and Mion must have been friends who knew each other well, so I couldn't bring myself to ask, "What's your name?" Mion's friend smiled once again. His smile looked as refreshing as clear blue sky. This time he smiled a bit mischievously. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone you were crying. Well, no one would believe me if I told them anyway. No one would ever believe that our invincible class president cried. He patted the dust off his butt once again. He walked back to the sunny-made road away from the dark alley. Then he turned around. See you. In school tomorrow, I mean. Yeah. See you in school. He disappeared into the brightly lit street. I continued to sit in the gloomy alleyway. Hi, Lily Kenway. Yeah, no, I'm actually an actress, but I live in Japan right now, so I really like doing these things and doing like voice acting and stuff. It's a really fun, nice outlet to get my acting in. But I also will apologize because I'm also doing it for YouTube, so I'll take a break like right now to talk to you, but most of the time I'll like keep going to make the story kind of flow. And I also put my thoughts in there, but thank you. I'm glad. And also, while I'm stopped, this is the saddest thing I have ever. I already know where this is going, and this is really fucking sad. Like, she's like clearly like, how you say it in Japanese is hitomembore, love at first sight. You know, the cute. But she's not Shion, she's Mion right now, but he doesn't know that. And we all know he's gonna get probably murdered. So like, he doesn't even know that he's talking to like a completely different girl, and it's really sad. Okay, let's continue. I continued to sit in the gloomy alleyway. I could no longer see him. I was just staring absent-mindedly at the bright light. That was the first time I met Satoshi-kun. I'm not even allowed to walk freely under the sun. I met a boy on a sunny day. How come a perverse girl like me fell in love with his innocence? I hate how freaking fast those things go. They're so freaking fast. Like, I wanted to read it slower, but I was like, oh, I know it's gonna disappear, so I have to read it fast. That must be Satoshi. He looks like what you described, and he has a habit of stroking people's heads. Uh-huh. His name's Satoshi-kun, huh? The boy from earlier is called Hojo Satoshi. Also, I've said this multiple times, but I do live in Japan, so I say their names the Japanese way, which is you say their last name first. Mion said that he's always daydreaming, so she didn't believe that he saved me at first. His little sister is always kicking his butt. Uh-huh. He has a little sister. Yep. Her name's Satoko. She's funny and shrewd, but it's quick to cry when she's cornered. She's fun to watch, but things have been rough for her lately, so she's feeling a bit down. His sister came up naturally in the conversation. I tried to soak up every scrap of information about Satoshi-kun. Why? Why am I trying to ask so much about him? As I asked myself that, the feeling I got when he stroked my head came back. I must have been blushing. Hello? Shion? Oh! Sorry. I'm here. I'm listening. To start, I hear Satoko's on bad terms with her aunt. Satoshi's mature, so, like, he knows how to conduct himself, but when things go bad, Satoko really lets herself go. What Sis told me was very interesting. She told me that the parents of Satoshi and his little sister are dead. Satoshi-kun and Satoko are now living with their uncle and aunt. They don't seem like very respectable people. They're always fighting, and the uncle is cheating on the aunt. He mostly lives with his mistress. Satoshi-kun and Satoko entered into that unwelcome environment. What surprises me the most is the fact that Satoshi's-kun parents were the Hojo couple who were the leaders of the pro-dam activists. That fact must have added something to the situation. I don't know what kind of stance the uncle and aunt took during the dam conflict, but they must have taken some indirect blows. Satoshi-kun's parents died after bothering them so much, and even left them their children. The uncle and aunt obviously can't love those kids. Things have gotten worse this past year too. Women can be really nasty. Sometimes it doesn't matter who they're bullying, even if it's a kid. On top of that, women tend to care less about propriety than men. As a result, Satoko seems exhausted with it all. I can imagine Satoshi-kun bravely protecting his little sister, just like when he saved me. So, he must be exhausted too, right? Huh? He must be covering for Satoko all the time. So, wouldn't you normally assume he's also feeling worn out? Well, I don't know. Had I said something wrong? Mion sounded a bit taken aback. So that meant Mion can't tell how he's feeling. Because he's always wearing that blank look, so she never considered it. How could she be that insensitive, even though she's around him all the time? I was amazed to realize that. Well, anyway, what is... Oh, wrong person, sorry. Shion, not Mion. What does he usually do? He looks smart. Does he read a lot of books? Yeah, you're right. He likes to read. He's now reading, what's it called? I continued asking about him. About what he likes, dislikes, what he thinks. I asked all these questions because I wanted to know more about him. It was the first time I've ever been that interested in somebody. I didn't want to admit that I had feelings like that. Did I fall in love just because of a stroke on the head? Am I stupid or what? When I remember the feeling of his hand on my head, my heart feels tingly. I tried doing it myself, but it didn't feel the same. I'm so stupid. What am I doing? Stroking my own head? Sis, I'm done for. I became stupid. What? Why are you laughing? In that weird voice. You wouldn't understand this feeling, sis. When would I see him again? I felt as if my suffocating life had finally grown brighter. It's like the saddest freaking thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. The life I lived recently was beginning to suffocate me. Well, yeah, you're hiding. I couldn't go out freely. I always had to make arrangements with Mion before going to work. I know you want to be in your hometown, but really it would be a lot easier if you just moved to a different town. I thought my life would improve after escaping from the school, but in reality it wasn't that easy. It's not healthy to live like this for too long. Without any friends to hang out with, I felt like I was hibernating. I started to feel the dangers of falling into boredom. All I could think of now was Hojo Satoshi's face. I'd only met him briefly, but my encounter with him had a great impact on my new life. I felt like something exciting was going to happen. Really, I was hyped like a little kid. The more I thought about it, I realized I'd been thinking about him a lot lately. This might be a crush. I felt a little ridiculous idolizing him in such a romantic way, though. Then out of the blue, I got a chance to see him again. Oh? I saw a familiar face at twilight in the park. He was sitting on the swing. He looked like he was zoning out, or maybe deep in thought. He didn't notice me, even though I was right in front of him. I reminded myself to speak and act like Mion before talking to him. Hey, what are you doing here? Mion, you surprised me. You don't look surprised. I've been standing here for a couple minutes. Didn't you notice me? Have you? Sorry, I didn't. He smiles I can't pronounce that word, and shrugged. He looked depressed, like something was troubling him. Is something bugging you? You can talk to me if you want. Maybe I can help. No, that's okay. Come on, I owe you from before, Satoshi-kun. Or maybe you don't think this old man can be of any help? Don't you know how mighty I am? I'm okay. You don't have to help me. Huh? What is it then? Are you saying you don't need help from a girl? Thinking him unfair, I puffed up my cheeks in a sulky gesture. Satoshi-kun noticed that and smiled. No, Mion. It's just... I messed up my swing when they needed me the most. I mentally rifled through all the information about Satoshi-kun that Sis had given me. He doesn't look like much of an athlete, but apparently Satoshi belongs to a junior baseball team. They're called the Hinamizawa Fighters. I doubt he's very skilled since I didn't hear much about his contributions to the team. Maybe that's why he doesn't tell very many people that he's a member. Given how down he felt as a result of messing up, though, he must be fairly dedicated. I deduced all that from what Sis told me and carefully chose my words so as to sound like her. What? Are you feeling down just because of that? Hey, it's not that easy to get over, Mion. I pat his back while chuckling. Satoshi would probably call me insensitive. I knew I should listen to him rather than trying to cheer him up. Acting like Sis was probably the wrong thing to do in this case, but I had no choice. This was just how she'd react in this situation. Instead of feeling down, you should practice harder and aim for your chance, you know? Practice makes perfect. Well, if you want to beat the opposing pitcher so badly you're willing to pull tricks, then I might be able to help you in a few ways. There's no point if I cheat. I like this guy. Satoshi-kun hung his head after letting his regrets out with a big sigh. Surrender, defeat, resignation were all visible in that gesture of his. Are you quick to give up or persistent? If you're a man, then don't you want to be a star and have your 15 minutes of fame? Satoshi grinned and said yes. Of course, that'd be wonderful. But that's not why I play baseball. I just have fun batting and throwing the ball. You can understand that, right? This old man isn't sure. I only love games that I can win. I know that she's technically Mion right now, so I should be using my more Valley girly voice, but she's still Shion, and for the purpose of keeping it separated, I'm using my Shion voice. I don't understand how you can love something when you can't be the best at it. That really sounds like you, Mion. Having realized that I'm trying to make him feel better, he laughed along. He didn't look too depressed anymore. I guess he was just feeling down because of the game. He wasn't as depressed as I thought. Maybe I just jumped to conclusions when I saw him sitting alone in the park. You always put your best foot forward to win. That's admirable, I think. Yeah, it definitely is. He smiled gently and stood up, then stroking my head all of a sudden. I totally wasn't prepared for that. I thought this was what he did last time, but how can he stroke someone's head so easily? I felt like I turned into a little kid. Memories from kindergarten came back. My face must have been red. I felt embarrassed, but also like I was in heaven. Satoshi stroked me as though petting a cat. I was blushing with my eyes closed. I felt helpless, like a girl being treated by the dentist with her mouth open and eyes shut. Satoshi didn't seem to notice my feelings at all. He didn't seem to care. I hate him for that. With my eyes still closed, I waited for him to finish. He suddenly withdrew his hand. I need to get going. My aunt wants some stuff, so I have to go grocery shopping. Oh, okay. My voice faltered. I was so embarrassed. Huh? I'm going shopping too. What? You are? I thought the maids did all your household stuff. Oh, shoot. I messed up. In the main Sonozaki house, the maids do everything. Therefore, Mion hardly goes grocery shopping, and she's bragged to people about that. I should have known better. Still, it wouldn't be too hard to find an excuse. I just happened to be in town, so I thought I'd help out with the household stuff. Is that a problem? That doesn't sound like you. You always avoid doing boring stuff like that. You talk too much. Oh, stop stroking my head. Satoshi seemed to be having fun with how embarrassed I'd get when he patted me. Anyways, I managed to talk my way out of it. He didn't seem to really care about the details. While walking with Satoshi in the shopping district of Kamiishiki, it suddenly occurred to me, why had I messed up? I know Mion would never go grocery shopping. Oh, what an amateurish mistake. Did I make that mistake when I was pretending to be Mion? No. I was probably speaking as Shion. I couldn't keep lying to myself. I had to just admit. It was simply because I wanted to spend as much time with Satoshi-kun as possible. It was easy to see why I was so attracted to him. I'd found something intriguing in my boring life. And I didn't have to feel tense because he thought I was someone else, etc., etc. His easygoing nature made him fun to be around, and his habit of petting people on the head was fun too. From these symptoms, I could tell I was embracing that feeling of love. I was just casually enjoying that feeling. It wasn't that I fell in love with him. I was just having fun. I could simply spend fun time with Satoshi without having to think too much. Which one is broccoli? The green one or the yellow one? Really, dude? That's cauliflower, Satoshi. Hey, could it be you can't tell lettuce from cabbage either? I'm not that bad. I'm doing my best here. Satoshi stared at the heaps of broccoli and cauliflower. After thinking for a while, he reached out for the wrong one. That's not it! Watching you shop is like being on a roller coaster. It's a lot of fun for me, though. You got me. Satoko can't tell the difference either. Which is broccoli, which is cauliflower? Really? You guys are so funny. Sissa told me that Satoshi was a flaky big brother to his nagging little sister. I hadn't met Satoko, but she must be having a tough time dealing with Satoshi-kun. He stumbles over everything he buys after all. That's cooking salt! It's mixed with pepper. It's different from regular salt. Is it? I think I saw salt and pepper separate in a science experiment once. Stop making excuses and just put it back on the shelf. This is normal salt. What are you getting next? You are a great help, Mion. You look smart, but you have serious issues. I think you should study more. That's a little harsh. There, is this it? In it goes. That's not it! Don't just throw anything in the basket. Check the price and how many servings it is first. My first impression of Satoshi-kun was that he was strong and reliable. But the more I spoke to him, the more I surprised was at how clumsy and unreliable he was. How how do I put it? It was hard to leave him alone. He was dangerous on his own. If he wasn't careful, he might start wondering, do you cross the street when the light's red? Or was it green? And get himself run over by a dump truck. Your total is 1,780 yen. Do you have a member's card? Huh? Yeah, I do. Where is it? Oh, sorry. We can't seem... Who is talking? We can't seem to find it, so we'll be alright for today. I finished checking out, ignoring Satoshi-kun as he fished through his wallet full of receipts. That was horrible, Mion. You made me waste points. Don't go slowly fishing through your wallet to look for your member's card in the middle of an evening shopping rush. There was a huge line behind us. Didn't you notice all the evil glares from the old ladies? Listen, at times like that, you should get it out before reaching the register. She's totally giving herself away here. Oh, right. Good to know. It's not only when you go shopping. The same thing goes when you ride a bus. Satoshi-kun, I bet you don't open your wallet and start looking for change until you're about to get off and have to pay while holding up everyone behind you. No. Everyone walks by me and pays their own fare. You know what that means? You're being a super huge bother to everyone. You need to have the money out beforehand. That's just good manners. Do you get it? Okay. You're scary today, Mion. Satoshi smiled as if patronizing me. I couldn't believe it. He was definitely the type who made women want to protect him. Sure, he was fine when he had a busybody like me around him, but I couldn't stop worrying whether he was able to function in society without someone like that nearby. We got plastic bags and sorted out what we bought. Satoshi-kun put a pack of tofu at the bottom of the bag. I slapped his hand and put a milk carton instead. Okay, there we go. Now your aunt won't freak out when she opens the shopping bag in her kitchen. Thanks. You helped a lot. I don't think I'm very good at shopping. Just shopping? That's definitely not the only thing. I'm just kidding. I had realized a few things while I was spending time with him today. He's not just bad at shopping, he's also chronically clumsy. In general, you could call him a slow thinker. That meant when he stepped into a quarrel with the punks, he must have needed a lot of courage. He might be a simpleton, but he's not stupid. He's aware of his weaknesses. So he must have been aware of the danger in that situation. He could have chosen to walk away even though I was in trouble. But he chose to be a man and stepped in. That was really admirable of him. Good boy. You did a great job. There. What is it? Don't stroke my head. I'm rewarding you for your shopping successfully today. There. You're making fun of me, aren't you, Mion? No, I'm not. Can you go home by yourself? Do you know how to get there? You are making fun of me. Satoshi's-kun's sulky face flushed red. He's so cute. At that point, I caught a glimpse of a billboard from the corner of my eye. Piano lessons call XX. Abacus class. Junior baseball team members wanted. It was a posting for the team Satoshi-kun belonged to. It showed the day, time, and place of their next practice. Oh, she's gonna fuck up because she wants to go see him. But then I knew just how flaky he was. I figured he must be just the same when playing baseball. Satoshi-kun realized I was reading the posting. He looked uncomfortable and walked away. Nande? He doesn't want her to go see. I know what you're thinking. I hope you won't come to see me play baseball, Mion. Am I right? Oh, wrong person. What does the mumbling mean? I know I'm right. Ugh. Satoshi became quiet after mumbling something. It seemed like he couldn't say anything back since I'd been right on the money. Satoshi-kun, you're just so cute. I don't think going silent's a good way to dodge an issue. Well, that might have just been the way innocent people like him would react in a situation like that. See you, Satoshi. It's getting dark, so be careful on your way back. Aren't you going home, Mion? To Hinamizawa? I have to make a stop somewhere first. Don't worry about me. I'll help you this time, in return. I'm okay. What are you going to help me with anyway? You should learn to support yourself before trying to help me. You're really mean today. He seemed to have some pride at least. He looked a bit upset because he was being teased by a girl. But in contrast, I felt very satisfied. As a result, I forgot to keep my guard up. Thank you for the help. That was sweet of you. While wearing a bright smile, Satoshi suddenly started stroking my head again. Oh, I know he's teasing me, but I can't reject him. He keeps doing it only because he realized I won't resist. See you, Mion. You should go home before it gets dark. See you in school tomorrow. Uh-huh. See you in school tomorrow, too. In fact, I wouldn't see him tomorrow at all. It felt awkward, but I had to settle for that. I had to thank Sis for letting me use her name. After I separated from him, I found myself giddy and wishing to see him again as soon as possible. I wanted to know more about him. I couldn't wait for my next chance to see him. Actually, maybe there was something I could do. Just like when I attained my freedom from St. Lucia's, I could choose how to live my life. Whatever, it wasn't that complicated. I just wanted to tease him more. I wanted to stroke my head more and... whatever. I already knew the schedule for his baseball team. I'm so curious as to what happens when Satoshi goes back to school and, like, Shion is, like, 100% flirting with him, and Mion is probably, and, like, so, like, he goes and, like, tries to flirt with Mion, and she's just like, what are you doing? That was so cute. This is so much better than the stupid club stuff. I love romance stories, even though I know it's gonna end tragically. Alright, let's save.